Court is calling 2022 CR 10886, State of Texas versus Thomas Glenn Marsh. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Warren Wolf for Mr. Marsh.
Are you Thomas Marsh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Marsh, you entered a plea of guilty on March 29th to the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There are no applications for deferred, and the state is opposing your application for community supervision. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No.
State, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Mr. Marsh would like to address the court.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Thomas Marsh.
All right, defense.
Mr. Marsh, you had a chance to review the pre-sentence report,
Yes, sir.
and the question is, why should Judge Boyd trust you to be on probation on community supervision on this case, considering the fact that you've had some prior issues with probation? Could you tell the judge a little bit more about yourself, about why you think you could be successful on probation now?
I believe I could be successful on probation because it would put me like face to face with whatever temptations I may have, and they'll fight them in my face like that. And I've completed probation before in the past, and it kept me more in line and on top of things. I do have 2 jobs out there waiting for me to return.
Where are those jobs?
It's a place called Happy Day Cafe. It's a little place in Live Oak. And at Dog Stars, it's at a dog groomer. It's in University City right up the street. I arrived with my significant other for 23 years. He's sober, completely sober. All of my using came from really, I guess, traumatic things. Like the first time I was with watching my grandfather go through chemo and everything, and that's when I learned that this left start.
And what year was that?
That was when he died. It was in 2012.
Okay.
And so then the next time is when my grandmother, I was watching my grandmother die. And that's when it was, I guess, a relapse, you would call it, because in between all of that, I didn't really use. And so I think I'd be successful because I mean, I'm not planning on losing anybody else. I've already discontinued the use of the methamphetamine like before the new year started. Like this.
Did you know that the TAPA valve suggests to the court that you do an inpatient treatment with follow-up afterwards? You want to do that?
If I must, I'd rather not be, or can we not have that protocol?
Well, that's up to the judge. But that's the recommendation from the TAPA valve. So if that's what that stands between you and going to prison, are you willing to do that?
Does that have to do with me right now?
Oh, yeah. You're under examination. Here's the thing. If you don't want to go to inpatient treatment, just let the court know.
Just due to health conditions and not knowing what.
Oh, here's the thing. The answer to that is either yes or no. And you know what? I don't see anybody who's not being sober and using drugs telling people, hey, let me make sure that before I use any of your drugs, that you're putting the right things in it, and that people, please wear your mask because COVID is an issue before I take your drugs and use them. Nobody's concerned about COVID when they're doing the puff, puff, pass. Nobody's concerned about COVID when they're taking a needle from somebody. I don't hear anybody saying that. So now when it's time for treatment and the hard work, people are saying, I'm concerned about health conditions. So when you were using, did you ask anybody if they had COVID?
But I didn't.
No, that's my question for you. When you were using drugs, did you ask anybody, before I take drugs from you, do you have COVID? Have you been following COVID protocols? Did you ever ask them that? But now when it comes time to potentially you going to treatment, your concern is about COVID.
I'm just concerned about being housed around a whole bunch.
Okay. No, I understand. Is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find you guilty, sentence you to 4 years in the prison. Take in consideration NIMAG number 701585, give you credit for any time served. If you wish, the court can have you placed in the therapeutic community, at least a recommendation for that. Would you like that?
Therapeutic community.
Yes. It doesn't increase your time that you're in the prison, but there's a potential for you to be placed in that program to help you with your drug issues.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, but you must request it. So I'm going to say therapeutic community. And I want you to know, I listened to what you were saying, but I also looked at your criminal history, and you've been given probation for drug cases and for DWIs for several times. All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
45.
All right, you're 45. How old is your partner?
It was 61.
All right, so you are like me. You're close to being in the twilight of your life. You're going to have to make a decision on what you're going to do with your rest of your life. Either you're going to be in and out of prisons and in and out of jail. You're going to get to the point where you're going to be considered a habitual. And what that means is when you're considered a habitual offender for some felonies, if you're convicted, your minimum is 25 years prison. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. You're welcome. Who's here on